Hangout is live on the air. Hey guys, it's Alex O'Neill here. With me, I have Jarrett
Hi.
and Jacob. J and J,
Hello.
the Telltale spoiler aficionados.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what it's looking like.
This is what the team is. Every
Telltale
time.
team.
Newt he might play the wolf among us, but we're the only ones that stick by him. So we're going to be talking about Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 2, A House Divided, in a very spoilery fashion. So if you haven't played it and don't want it to get ruined, I mean, what are you doing? Don't watch this.
Like, did you not read it? Like the title?
It says it in the title, so just know that. So, yeah, guys, Kenny's alive. Spoilers, starting off.
Yep.
Deep spoilers. But we all knew.
Yeah, we all knew.
I mean, you knew.
You
I
knew.
knew.
You were pulling
I
for
knew.
it.
I assumed he was dead like everyone else, but
No. Carry the hope in your heart.
fuck it up.
yep.
I'm
Oh,
just gonna
man.
channel my
And
inner
his
cynical.
beard. Oh man, his beard.
Yeah, that beard.
And
Man,
his beard.
He's got the
His-
Herschel
oh my
beard
God.
going right now.
It's amazing.
It's intense. It's intense.
Yeah,
He's intense.
he is
he's-
intense. That
he's-
duck moment is really uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is.
I was like, Luke, don't say shit.
Like,
Yeah.
Luke, just shut the fuck up. Whatever you do now.
Yeah, that.
It was
Oh,
such a
man.
good moment, though. It was such a real moment. It's just the look on his face. He's like, oh. So, how did you guys feel about episode 2, season 2, episode 2? Jared, how would you start things off?
I mean, it was better than the first one, but in my opinion, it's like really not hard.
Yeah.
The first, now, granted, it's better than the first one. I still don't think it's very good. I think, other than a couple pockets of actual really interesting moments, real character moments that aren't like the artificial sort of superfluous horror character moments.
Mhm.
Outside of those particular areas, it's kind of it's the same game with the same problems.
Yeah. And I think I kind of cover that at the close of my review. Did you guys read it? I don't know
Yeah.
if you did.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to like this episode. I didn't like it as much as the first one. But like it was like about halfway through that opening scene with Nick in the shed, I was just like, this is fucking terrible. I just thought that to myself. Like I knew what they were going for, but I feel like they missed every mark. I didn't think it was terrible. Let me readjust. I really didn't like it. I thought to myself, I'm not enjoying this, and I think I'm definitely in the minority about that. It's definitely a lot of people are saying, no, this is way better than the first one. It didn't do it for me. I'll get into my specific complaints later. But what did you think, Jacob? You liked it.
Well, I'm one of those people who you just mocked. So yes, I did like it. I agree. It's way better than the first one. But a lot of the stuff that I hated about the first one was that I hated almost everyone. Every single character aside from Clementine and Luke, I hated. And in this one, like, I liked the first scene with Nick because I got to know him a little bit. I got to see like what he was all about, and then just kind of traveling in with the doc. What's the doctor's name again? Carlos? No,
Carlos.
Carlos. Yeah. Spending some time with him, and especially Sarah, who gave me horrible vibes in the first episode. I don't know. Just for me, like some of those scenes just clicked with me, and they worked for me at least.
Yeah, I totally understand that. It just like again, it was personally didn't do it for me, but I can see it working for someone else. I guess I was relatively disappointed with the first one, and I expected a big jump up, and I guess it really didn't meet those expectations. And I was harsh on it because of that. I just like looking back on season 1, I think episode 2 of season 1 is my favorite episode, just because it's so fucking crazy. And it's kind of like a side story. It's more of like a means to an ends, but it's like a really interesting one. about the cannibals and whatnot. So I guess just starkly comparing the two, this felt like more like an episode 4, which is, getting from point A to point B.
Right.
But I don't know. It just
See, I can get that. I can get that. Yeah. It did feel kind of like moving pieces rather than, a lot of stuff happening. And then obviously like the same old technical things every single fucking episode of every single fucking Telltale game.
Yeah.
Has the same problems. So
I definitely hit a lot more glitches here than I have in any episode before this. Like it was just a lot more weird jumping to a neutral animation position, like that I've talked about before, and a lot more just. It felt like weird cuts and like it would stop and start in places, and I was playing on PC, so it was definitely unexpected, especially like coming off The Wolf Among Us, which was fine for me.
Yeah. See, with me, I had the exact opposite. Oh my god, that's someone just outside my house honking over and over.
Great.
And over.
Just throw a rock out the window at them.
There's a decent chance that that's one of my roommates. Anyways, this is the first episode for me since The Wolf Among Us, both the episodes and the first episode of season 2 of The Walking Dead. This is the second episode is the first one that didn't crash once for me. So this is actually the best running one I've had since at least the first episode of The Wolf Among Us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't blame you for liking this episode. I will say that. I'm not.
Thank God.
I'm not the internet. I don't get angry at people for disagreeing with me.
I'm gonna blame you a little bit.
That's fine. I figured so.
One of us has to at this point. So, I guess let's just kind of go through it. You like this intro scene, Jacob?
Yeah. I didn't hate it as much as you did. I wouldn't say I was absolutely in love with it, but it worked for me. I do understand. I wasn't a huge fan of the time jumps. I know you talked about those in your review. Wasn't really a huge fan of those, but just kind of talking to him and kind of understanding what he was all about and seeing how upset he was that Pete was gone, and then watching him just get drunk. And I shared a drink with him. I don't know about you guys, but Clementine had a little bit of that. Oh, Clementine had quite a bit.
Clementine's getting crunk.
Clementine knows how to party all up in this shed. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. What about you, Jarrett? What did you think of this scene?
I had a different scene, if you remember. I chose Pete.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Pete gets bit
happened? Yeah,
on the way out, and you shack up in the back of a cigarette truck.
Oh.
Where you two realize he's bit and pretty much dead from here on. Mm-hmm. He goes through some thoughts, picks up a hacksaw, and is thinking about his cutting his leg off. Mm-hmm. Decides against it, and slowly dies. It becomes a distraction for walkers. You run away back to the cabin. Mm-hmm. It's like maybe a day, I think. That's what happens in there.
Okay.
It's really not great.
Yeah, how is his scene? So like my big complaint with this first scene was like I thought what they were trying to do was really admirable. It was good, the concept, and getting to know Nick at least was good. But the delivery and the writing just was really not there for me. It felt like just all the lines were delivered not the right way. It just sounded weird. It sounded stiff. It just didn't do it for me. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's a lot of this episode for me.
Well, it's kind of more of the same on the other side. I like Pete more than I like Nick, which is why I chose him. So I wasn't too worried about getting to know Pete. Pete's an old dude who's like a caretaker for Nick and Luke. So I know he's like an okay dude. Mm-hmm. But they go through that, oh man, I don't want to die. I'm going to die. Have my self-realization. And then decide I'm going to go out helping someone. I mean,
go out in style.
It's pretty much cut and dry. You knew this was going to happen when by the end of this last episode. And there is zero surprises here. I guess not that there should have been, but I would have liked it to have been, because I've been watching zombie movies for 20 years. I don't need to watch the same one for the 21st year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, it feels like a lot of that. We'll get to it in, I guess, more detail in a little bit. But the whole Matthew thing was just, it felt like the dog all over again to me.
Kinda.
Like of course Matthew gets shot. Of course he's dead. Of course he's part of the party that we meet later. And of course there are gonna be repercussions. It felt exactly like the dog bit you. Of course you're gonna meet people. Of course they're gonna think you've been bit. And that was what kind of broke this episode for me. The one thing, like the one straw that broke the camel's back, was that situation. I could have gotten past it if it wasn't for all that. But immediately when I saw Matthew, I knew something like that was going to happen. It was going too well. And they could have surprised me and been like, well, let's just have it go well and have something different that's worse happen later. But no, it went exactly where I thought it would go.
I didn't think he was going to die when you saw him. I was hoping he was going to be a cannibal.
Yeah,
like a lone cannibal in the shack. That'd be weird.
That would be cool. And then he got shot, and then you're like,
and then I was like, well, there goes that idea.
Why did he have so much stuff down there?
Yeah,
did he just like to live alone for long periods of time?
That was weird. I will agree with you. It's like he was staying down there for extended amounts of time. I think that was kind of like his home, his second base, because Walter mentions he was like building a massive literature. And if you look in the trunk, there's a bunch of books in there. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, the interesting didn't do it for me. But I understand, Jacob. I totally get it. It was me being nitpicky, I think. And just me having this mindset of I want this to surprise me like the first season did. And it's just not doing that for me. So after that scene, it goes to you get back to the house, and then Rebecca and Carlos go out to find Alvin and Luke. And now you're left alone with Sarah. You're faced with the very difficult decision of should you take a picture of her or not. Did you guys do it?
I did.
I did.
Yeah, I didn't see why not to.
I didn't really think that. Oh, damn! This is going to have horrible repercussions if I take a picture of this girl.
See, the repercussions for that was actually really clever. I thought.
I know. I did too. I thought that whole scene was probably one of my favorites, where you just walk around.
Yeah.
With Carver.
Did you like it, Jarrett? Did the scene with Carver?
I don't really know how I feel about it. I know they're supposed to make Carver, he's like a menace.
Yeah.
He's this tense force who could kill you if he wanted to. That's why he's walking through this house, having a conversation with you. But he's not going to, which is supposed to make him seem worse in some way than a person who would just want to kill you and take all your stuff.
Yeah.
But
so,
he's very Michael Madsen-y because he's played by Michael Madsen.
Yeah, he is super Michael Madsen-y. Great adjective. I'm
just not sure I took the message that was very obviously trying to be displayed about Carver. I felt it more silly than menacing. I get it. I understand the real narrative meaning about his scene there, that whole sequence. It's just you had them scared anyway. What's the point?
So I was really looking forward to this scene, inevitably where you meet Carver, and I was excited that it was going to be one-on-one, but it felt so anticlimactic to me.
It did just end.
It ended, nothing actually happens. I thought that last dialogue tree at the end when he sees the picture and he finally is just like, I know you're fucking lying, so what did they do when you first met them? And he's just asking straight questions. I thought that was actually really good, but the tension that I knew I was supposed to feel in the scene was completely gone. Unlike the ending, I thought that whole ending scene when you're sneaking through the lodge was really awesome and really tense. But I just, again, it was something that just didn't do it for me. the tension that was supposed to be there wasn't, for me personally, and I just walked away disappointed in the end. It was like there was this really great moment at the end when he's talking to you, and then it's over, and it's just in the end nothing happened.
I think that's the problem. In the end, there was no consequence. He walked through, and the only thing that means anything too was Clementine, who was there.
Yeah. So did you guys? How did you guys play it? Because I played it pretty straight. I told him that I was the only one there, that there was no group, and that no one was coming to find me.
How many people did you say that you lived there alone, or did you say that you? I told him I was with. It was me and my dad that was there. And he was out.
I went there with lived there alone, and I'm passing through. I'm not going to be here for very long. And I thought that was really interesting. It was an interesting way to play it. Again, it wasn't as tense as I wanted it to be. So I was, again, disappointed, but it was I was really interested by that scene because it felt like there were a lot of ways you could play it. You could grab the knife, you could lie to him, you could be frank to him. So I'm curious.
Did you guys grab the knife?
I didn't grab it.
No, I didn't want to do anything where he'd have to just beat my ass because he's a giant person and I'm a little.
Yeah. I was trying to be
not like undead.
Yeah. He's smart. He's dangerous. Clearly. I was trying to be cunning, so I didn't go for the knife.
I didn't either. But when he took it, he was like, "Well, where should I put this?" And I was like, "I'll take it."
Yeah, I did that too.
Nah. I was like, man, I thought I was being so smart, and then I said something so fucking stupid.
He didn't even like acknowledge it either. He just puts it in the drawer like.
Sure.
Yeah. I told him I think it goes right there, so I didn't even fuck with it, because I knew he would just kill me if I tried something. So.
And I told him I was in a big group. I didn't just outright tell him who we were and who I was, but he's here because he knows who's here. And he knows who we are. Yeah. So there's really no point in pretending he doesn't. And I have to imagine if I was 11 and she had heard about them talking about this Carver character, especially what happened when she saw those dead bodies at the end of the first episode, she has to know that this person probably knows everything he wants to know too.
Yeah. I really like Carver as a character, yes. I will say. I think he's intimidating in all the right places and all the right ways. I just thought this scene with him was anticlimactic. Again, I thought the later scene was really great. But it just... I was looking forward to this a lot, and it let me down. Just with how simple it was. It was exactly as long as it needed to be, but the interesting part of it was too short, I thought. So. Right.
See, I think one of the reasons I liked it was just because I was so excited that they finally... See, one of the things I didn't like about the first season was that the villain was the antagonist was shit, and they pulled like this, we got you by having him be a guy that seemed to hunt you for like months. But in this case, it's like he's set up, he's established, you got a face to go with the voice right in the second episode, and now we go from here. And he seems, I mean, if those clips of the third episode or anything, he seems like he's kind of there's a little more to him than just being like a grumbly Michael Madsen knockoff.
I'm afraid that he's going to be like TV governor.
Yeah, it does seem like they go to some sort of community, but I'm hoping that they're smart enough not to just do a governor ripoff.
TV governor totally sucks.
Yeah.
Comic book governor rules.
Yeah,
governor not so much.
Yeah, I definitely think The Walking Dead needs a governor-style villain.
I think that's what Carver will be.
The game needs it.
Yeah, it needs a villain. It needs more than just zombies, because at this point they're pretty good at taking off.
Can we talk about the zombies a second?
Sure.
How completely fucking stupid it is.
I have a complaint too. Go ahead. You go for it. I have one too.
When they're like, let's go across the bridge. There's two dudes. There's two zombies just chilling. Let's kill those. Okay. Now we're on the bridge, and suddenly a zombie just snuck up behind us. And two zombies just appear.
Yeah.
Oh, we're across the bridge? Oh, look. I guess we didn't see the 9 zombies cross the bridge. Just everybody's outside, and the only person inside who would be surprised is Clementine. You walk outside, and 9 zombies are walking across the bridge, and everyone's like, maybe we should go right now. No one decided to deal with that like 20 minutes ago because it took them a half hour to cross the bridge because they're undead.
Hustle, grand hustle at the end there.
Yeah. Great hustle, guys.
All right. And I got a zombie complaint. So where are they at? Are they in Virginia right now, or what state are they in?
I think they're either in Virginia or North Carolina.
All right. And the first episode took place in Georgia completely, right?
I don't know.
Or somewhere. Okay, well, anyways, they're in a completely different state.
Yeah.
So there's a scene where one of the zombies is wearing that stupid leather jacket that almost every zombie in the first season and Ben was wearing. And I was like, no, I refuse to believe that zombie walked all the way from wherever he was from to Virginia and would just happen to be there following us.
How many fucking football players did this one school have that they're riddled throughout the entire
They all
Eastern
rated
Seaboard?
like a Dick's Sporting Goods and got a bunch of like hunting jackets.
Yeah,
I thought the same thing. I'm like, because there's one when they're in the lodge and they shoot the black guy in the leather jacket, the zombie, and I'm like, is that the one black kid from 400 Days? I'm like, well, of course it's not. That'd be stupid. But why does that zombie have a leather jacket? Like, what is happening? I don't know. That's silly. I see the same one zombie,
like machine.
Probably. I see the same one zombie every time though. The one guy with the loose jaw and he's kind of fat and he's got the blue shirt. I see him in every episode.
See, those ones don't bother me as much because, like, okay, I can believe there's a guy who was wearing a blue shirt who became a zombie and his jaw got all fucked up. Like, I can believe that, but I can't believe that everyone in every state has the same leather jacket and they're all
blue
zombies.
Fucking leather jacket, just hanging out.
White sleeves. Yeah, fuck them.
They're on the same football team. There's like 150 zombies in the same football team.
Yeah, they had to be. It was affirmative action. They had to be equal opportunists. Everyone in the school was on the football team. It was a big school. But yeah, it's that Carver scene to get back on track was disappointing. And then they're just like, well, we gotta go. And then let's just jump 5 days ahead. Oh, we found Nick, no problem. Let's just jump around all over the fucking place. Yeah.
Did you find Nick 5 days, Jarrett? Or did you ever meet up with Nick again?
Well, Nick, since you I'm trying to remember the sequence because it's a little different for me.
Okay.
I know Carlos and everyone leaves. Carver comes in. Case is in place. Mm-hmm. Everyone comes back. Super sad about it. They all decide to leave. Nick is just there.
Really?
Yeah,
really?
Like, I don't remember it being a big ceremony to find Nick. He's just kind of there. And then you tell him Pete died. Or you tell him... you don't tell him Pete's dead. Everybody knows Pete's dead. But you show them where you saw Pete last. So everyone goes to, like, the cigarette truck and are trying to find where Pete could be, even though he's been out there for a week. And they just stares pretending he might be alive. They follow a blood trail around a rock, and Pete's just, like, eviscerated. Jeez. Nick has a moment, and it's just sad about it. Then they give him a gun for some reason.
Yeah, that's worse than I thought it would be.
Yeah. I was like, well, that happened. I didn't even know, like, weeks went by until Carlos just mentions it, like...
We've been walking for a week.
We've been walking for a week. I was like, really? We've been walking for a week?
Well, like they say after they find Nick, it's like, well, we got to go north, and then it says 5 days later, and I hated that. I didn't think it would bother me as much as it ended up doing, because from episode 2 to 3 in season 1, there was a huge time jump through the winter. And that was fine. I thought that was totally fine. But they just displayed this plain text black screen that says 5 days later, and I'm like, oh, this is so fucking stupid. I don't know why. It really bothered me.
I think when it happens in the middle of the episode, I think it's worse than when it happens, in between.
They clearly don't know what to do, and they're like, well, they don't want to happen right now. They need time to recover, so let's just say it was 5 days.
Yeah.
And if you were looking away from the screen that moment, you didn't even know that happened until someone says it did, like me.
Like, the thing is, like, if you save Nick, you go... It's the episode starts with you in the shed. It just jumps to you guys in some shed that you found, has boxes of apples and bottles of whiskey in it, like homebrew whiskey. And it's got a distillery thing in it. And then, after you look around the shed a little bit, it cuts to the evening, right? And Nick's drunk now. And then you get out of the shed, he distracts the walkers, you run for it, and then it cuts to the day, the morning, and then you're at the house. and then Carver comes, he goes, then it cuts time, some amount of time, and then everyone comes back except for Nick, and then you tell him where Nick is, and then it cuts time again, never telling you that it's cutting time, and then you find Nick, and then it cuts time again, then you're walking through the woods, and you're like, I'm sorry about Pete, Nick, and then it says 5 days later.
Yeah.
It was just like
I don't even know where I am anymore.
All over the place, and I like how they assume nothing could happen in 5 days.
Yeah. Suddenly, 20 zombies that pop out of the trees like fucking ninjas.
Like
5 days later, but not between the times. Not between 5 days, just at the end of 5 days.
Like they could have done a montage just to give us some context of are their tensions raising or lowering, and then fucking Rebecca doesn't hate you all of a sudden.
Yeah, the way shit
fuck her.
pops off.
Fuck her.
Go ahead, Jarrett.
She's like, hey, Rebecca. She's like, remember that time I was a dick? Doesn't even apologize. She's like, yo, I'm sad. I'm sorry about me being. I was stressed out because I'm pregnant and I don't know what to do about it.
I'm pregnant.
Bitch,
You
I
can't
don't care. I'm
prevent
11. Like,
right?
Yeah, I'm
a fucking kid. Like, what are you talking about? I've never been pregnant. I don't know what it feels like to be pregnant. I don't know why you're yelling at me. Okay?
pretty much told you everybody I was with was ruthlessly slaughtered, and you didn't give a fuck then.
You fucking bitch. What are you talking about?
Locked me in a shed. Had to
Yeah.
kill a fucking zombie with a hammer and then sew my arm back together.
Yeah,
Where
that
the fuck were you
relationship,
then?
Yeah.
that relationship was ruined episode 1, and I did not accept that apology.
Immediately. Yeah, like, they started off her on the bad foot, and they could have had you warm up to her. That's fine, but just...
It
I
was
guess
too
they were
much
like,
too soon.
everybody hates Rebecca, so let's make her likable now. It feels like the writers said that in a writing room somewhere. They're like, we should make them like Rebecca. Let's have her not be a bitch. And it's like,
They're like, good. That's a good idea. Give that guy a raise.
Tim, you should stick around. I like that idea. And it was just like, sorry, I'm such a bitch sometimes. I'm pregnant. And then later, when you're in the lodge, she's just like, it's not Alvin's baby. Why are you telling me this?
Yeah, I'm 11.
I'm 11.
Yeah.
What are you saying to me?
I don't even know how you created that, whatever's going on in there. So
I don't
what
even
you're
know what
telling me
boning
exactly.
is. Like, the zombie apocalypse happened when I was 8. So, fuck, I don't know what's happening. Who are you talking to? And she's like, for some odd reason, I trust you. Why?
School stopped like as soon as that shit could happen.
Yeah, right? Why do you trust me? What is your motivation? This is one thing that I refuse to believe I'm blowing out of proportion. That's just fucking stupid.
You're not. Because I love this episode way more than either of you, and I fucking hated that scene. I also didn't understand. Sarah is rolling with the punches way too easily, because she gave me the vibe in the first episode that she rarely left the house.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's just walking through the woods for 5 days.
What's
not worried, not concerned.
What's a super weird one is when you tell her Pete's dead, and she's like, I need a second, turns around and is like, good, immediately.
See, I think that they could make that into something. Like, maybe she's like a sociopath, and that's why Carlos doesn't want her seeing people outside shooting people, because then she'll be like, okay, bang!
It gives me that vibe, so that's a definite possibility.
And if that happens, that would be awesome. Not gonna lie. I'd be totally okay with that.
Yeah.
If, like, at some point in episode 3, Sarah just starts popping off people's heads, and she's like, I thought this was okay! And then half the group is dead, and then you're alone in the woods with Sarah. That would be fucking awesome.
Can you imagine episode 4, just you and Sarah just chilling in the woods?
That would be great. That would be so
She's
good.
fucking straight up like OG now because she couldn't fuck anymore.
She
Carlos
pops.
is there to stop her.
Yeah, like Carver. No, like Carver shoots Carlos. She shoots Carver, and then all of his camp dies, and then it's just the two of you. All right. We're writing The Walking Dead from here out.
Yeah, let's do it. This is clearly gonna win some awards.
It's better. It's a better
man.
fucking idea than let's
kid
not
army.
make Rebecca a bitch anymore.
It'll be Sarah, Clem, and Rebecca and Carver's baby, and then just all the only team.
It's like Robert Rodriguez wrote this.
And then you find the zombie of Krista's baby, who she clearly killed, and you team up. You got the zombie on a chain leash,
It's
just
like a
fucking
dog.
crawling. All right. right. We just
I
wrote the
feel
best
like
video
that's
game.
probably in the script. The way this episode was written. So like,
Yeah.
there's no rhyme or reason to some of it.
So anyway, the time jump happens. We're supposed to assume nothing happens. We're supposed to assume Sarah doesn't get more damaged than she clearly already is.
She's done. It's over for her. She has
Yeah.
nothing behind those eyes.
Yeah, she's
empty.
just a monster.
She's dead back there.
She's just
She's dead back there.
yeah. She's. I swear to God, if she turns and starts shooting people, like she. Did you guys teach her how to use a gun?
Yes.
Yes.
I did.
I love that
To
scene.
know how to-
I like that
love
scene a
that
lot
scene.
too.
It
And
was
then she
just
fucking
how-
points the gun at your head. I'm like,
Yeah.
in my room alone. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was rough, but I completely forgot about it. But I really liked it. Was exactly how Lee taught Clem on the train too.
Mm-hmm. She's relaying all the information, and in that moment, she's realizing that she doesn't know what the fuck Lee was talking about. She's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you got to squeeze the trigger, not pull it." And she's like, "Why?" I don't fucking know. Just do it.
Yeah, it's whatever. Just the thing. What's that mean? I don't know.
I don't know. I was taught this way, so I'm teaching you this way.
Yeah, I did like that scene.
So,
Alright.
so we all taught Sarah how to be a mass murderer.
Yes.
Yeah, this is all on us.
100%.
Yeah.
I feel good about this, though.
I do feel good about this. Hopefully this will go somewhere crazy. So then we get to the bridge scene, which we've talked about a little bit. Stupid, supposed to be tense moment,
God, it's so dumb. The bridge scene is so dumb.
and where walkers appear out of nowhere.
And, like, Luke falls through the bridge, and it's just... He's, like, in danger for, like, 10 or 15 minutes.
just chilling there while you're fighting off walkers,
Yeah.
putting hammers in people's jaws.
And this is a perfect example of just how bad some of the action sequences are. Not just in this season, but really throughout the game, throughout the series.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a Looney Tune, the way you get away from some of these walkers.
Yeah.
Like the one gets stuck
crawling
between the bridge like awning, and you're like, "Haha, I got you!" Run around.
And then the one just fucking dives off the bridge.
Yeah.
So I watched my roommate play this as I do with pretty much every Telltale game, and that he didn't know which analog stick to swing for the arrow. So when that walker like comes at you and is supposed to fall off the bridge, he failed that 3 times in a row, and the walker just fucking tackles you off the bridge, and it's just. And it was way funnier than it should have been, but it was really fucking hilarious to see him just tackle, and Clementine flies off the bridge and splashes, and
God.
it was
Yeah.
awful. But
And also, she falls and she catches herself, right? And pulls herself back up.
yeah.
Right. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, no, I have been in a situation where I'm hanging off of a ledge, and I could not bring my fat ass up off that ledge, I tell you what.
Because she's a superhero
Clementine's got that super strength.
who can't seem to kill a zombie with one hit with a machete to the face, but can like one hand and grab herself off of flying like a bridge flying at high speed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
Are we ruining this episode for you, Jacob? You just look so defeated now.
No, it's not. I'm just trying to decide, because I know the last episode we talked about whether or not we liked playing as Clem. Did that change for this episode? Change any of that? Do you like it less or more after playing this episode?
I'm digging it a little bit more. I'm getting into it. It is weird how, let's say, effective she is. But
It's a good word.
I did like the scene where her and Luke kill those 2 zombies. And I was like, oh, I'll take the big one. And he's like, no, you take the small one. And you hit
Don't
the
be
one,
an asshole.
you hit it with the hammer, but she can't, as strong, I know we were talking about how super strong she is, but I liked the fact that she couldn't pull the hammer out
gotta wiggle
on
out.
the first try.
Yeah.
Because it would probably not be easy to embed a hammer in a skull and then just pull it out super quick like everyone in the show and the game up to this point has been able to do.
Yeah. And then they use that mechanic that they used once in 400 Days and once in this, where you hold the button and then wiggle left, wiggle right. Hey, Jacob, you want to know what I really liked about that scene?
What?
After you kill the walkers, and then Luke gives you that super pedo look for like, wait.
No. That's the second question I was going to ask you. Do you both still think Luke is a pedophile?
Oh,
Because there's
so much more after this episode.
no way.
I don't, but that's only because I thought, what's his name, is more of a pedophile, the teacher guy.
The teacher is definitely a pedophile.
Oh,
Look at the
Walter?
sideburns and
Is that 'cause he's gay?
Over and no, it's the sweater. The sweater.
Are we
fucked me up.
profiling him? The sweater.
It's not even that. It's not the way he looks. It's not what kind of people he's into. It's the fact that 90% of all the conversations you have with him, he's talking about kids. And his kids
he's a
are
teacher.
And he's
Well,
like
okay.
looking at you like way too long.
Both my parents are teachers, and they don't talk about kids ever.
But he's gay. What does Clementine got to worry about him?
Maybe he loves kids.
I don't know.
He loves kids.
That dude's a pedophile.
I don't know.
Well,
Yeah, I'm
he's
not
dead now. It doesn't matter.
Definitely dead. But he was definitely a pedophile.
Spoilers. Whoops.
And Luke still has potential to be
No.
pedophile.
Luke, I love Luke so much more than anyone but Kenny. And I really am on the fence on Kenny at this point. Season 1 Kenny was my shit. Season 2 Kenny.
Kenny's
is
going a
real bad
little to
vibe.
the dark side.
Kenny's-
We're going to put that out there.
Kenny's empty too.
Yeah, he's got
Kenny's
Kenny-
in the same place.
Kenny's real
Eyes.
empty.
Yeah.
But I
Pass
love
that,
Luke.
duck.
I love Luke.
That awkward stare that he drops.
And I feel like Sarita's been hit once or twice.
Oh, definitely. Thank you for
She's-
pointing that out, because
she's
she's
definitely
clearly being
better.
beaten.
Yeah. Because when he takes that box, he's like, I'll take it. And I was like, oh, he's hit her before.
Right?
She's like, okay.
It's weird how totally, like, complacent and obvious that was, and she was just like, oh, you always gotta play the gentleman. Walks away, starts crying.
Yeah.
It's,
It's uncomfortable.
yeah, to say the least.
That first scene I saw Kenny, though.
You know who else also sucks since we're at the
Well, that's
bridge
just
and
shit.
the next scene is when you go to the storehouse and find the food? Alvin
yeah.
sucks.
Alvin does suck.
Alvin
He's like,
is...
so, my wife's pregnant, so can I take all this food? I'm like, no, shut the fuck up, Alvin.
Alvin sucks in an understandable way. I don't hate Alvin. He's dead for me now, so I fucked up that scene.
that up.
No
Alvin's
way.
dead.
Alvin's dead for you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm guessing, is he
man.
alive for both of you?
He's alive
He's
for me.
alive for
God
me.
damn it! Literally, if I could go back and do it again differently, I would. Because my roommate fucking saved him too. And he just got shot in the fucking face for me, I'll tell you what.
Oh, man.
It's, yeah, no, Alvin died. he got shot.
All right.
I
So,
assumed that he was going to die anyway, so
No.
I didn't know he
he's kicking.
he's very
I'm
much
so
alive.
glad. I'm so glad he's kicking because that's gonna make it so much more interesting when her and fucking Rebecca and Alvin and Carver have a nice sit down and talk about the baby.
Yeah.
Sue, by the way.
And I'm upset that I won't get to see that now. 'Cause Alvin, I think I hated the least, besides Luke, even though he's clearly a pedophile.
No. Let's not do that. Luke is amazing. I love Luke. I love Scott Porter who voices Luke, and I love his machete, and he wears it like Link.
Yeah, he does.
does it.
That's the cool thing about Luke. I'll give you that.
An orange sweater.
I
He's
just
got it all.
so like that scene with Luke while we're still here, when oh god, that fucking line. He's just like pats you on the back. Good job, kid. I'm like, oh. I cringed as much as that scene where Kenny's like, yeah. After you ask him to fucking search for weapons on Bonnie, it's just oh god. It was those moments where I was just like, oh no, please no. It was just like they were trying to build this dynamic duo between Luke and Clementine.
No, they are a dynamic duo. I love that Luke, out of everyone there, he's like, you know what? Who's gonna be my wing person? The 11-year-old.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah, man, I would roll with Clementine as
I
well.
would too. I would be Clementine's wingman because she definitely knows how to get things done.
Yeah, it's
She's
true.
a doer.
She's a doer. She's a go-getter.
Yeah, that was the only question I had. So, Alex, you still think Luke's a pedophile, and Jarrett's on the fence, and I'm clearly in the anti-pedo.
Just like, and it's not me. I was after that scene happened when my roommate was playing. I was trying not to say anything, but I looked at him and he looked at me and he's like, he kind of squinted at me and I said, "Are you getting some rapey vibes from him? Because I am way there." And he's like, "I'm glad I'm not alone on that." So I'm justified.
If he makes a move on Clem in the next 3 episodes,
It'll destroy your world, won't it?
I will be ruined completely and forever.
You are emotionally invested
Yeah,
in the
I am.
dynamic duo.
The episode
man.
you're not on, the Spoilercast you're not on, is the episode he makes some weird moves. He gets super
Yeah.
rapey.
And you won't be on because you'll be too busy crying.
Oh, where'd
man.
Jacob go? Well, it turns out Luke is a rapist.
So Jacob's
I'll
not
just
here
be
anymore.
I'll just stare into the camera with the dead eyes. I'll be empty inside. I'll
You'll be Sarah.
You'll be Sarah.
You'll be Sarah and Kenny.
Sarah and Kenny and me. We're all husks.
Dead husks. You and Rebecca's baby.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So we meet Matthew.
I got good vibes from him. I knew it was gonna happen before it happened, but like I was still
He
sad.
seemed pretty cool.
I was like, it's finally a second person that I can
Yeah,
like. 'Cause
I
I
liked
like one other person besides Luke. I like Luke, and that
Like
was
finally
it.
an Asian to make this an ethnically viable group.
There's the rest of the ethnicity. I was really sure he was going to be a cannibal, and then he got shot, and I was like, well, there goes my theory.
I was still
There
kind
goes
of
me
hoping.
spicing it up again.
I was still kind of hoping. There were 2 scenes where I was hoping when I'd open the trunk there would just be human heads in there.
That's what I thought. I was like, he was a fucking cannibal.
And then I was also hoping when Walter's making the fucking peach bean gumbo
That it was gonna be.
that there would be
Made out
human
of
hands
people.
just sticking out of it, and Kenny's like right behind you, turn around, he's like, "I'm gonna eat you." I knew that was never gonna happen, but there was a part of me. Just
Can you
going for
imagine?
it. That would be great. That would be so great.
That would-
Kenny just turns cannibal.
The internet would have made that like 6 out of 10. The story's horrible. The writing's terrible.
I would have given it a 10.
I've
Perfect
been
score.
like, yep, 10 out of 10. Kenny's a cannibal.
I'm sorry, Luke. Or not Luke, Jacob. See, I'm just associating you with him now. We're just
fine.
ruining all your characters.
To me, you could call me Luke all day. I know to me, you basically calling me a pedophile, but to me, you're calling me a badass.
Hey, man, at least you carry your machete like Link carries his sword.
Yeah, I do.
Well, I know who you're dressing up for Halloween this year.
I'm just gonna wear an orange sweater and a machete, and that's
Yeah. So we get to the lodge. Now, what did you guys think was going to happen? Because I didn't expect Kenny to show up. I still thought Kenny was going to be alive, but I didn't expect him to show up in episode 2. I expected if he was going to pop in, it would be like 4 or 5, and then he would just die immediately.
Yeah, see, I called it from that thing in the end of the first episode. I was like, oh, that's fucking Kenny. When
To be
she
fair,
does
that other girl that Krista shot is still alive. I'm still right.
fucking spoiling. I don't care if you're right. I was right. Let me have this one.
You were right, Jacob. You called it. You were hoping, and it
Kenny's
happened.
alive. I was excited, and I gave him a hug. Did everyone
me
else
too.
give him a hug?
I hugged
Give
him.
him a hug.
Yeah.
Fuck
I was
yeah.
happy to see him. I really liked Kenny.
I was
He
like,
had a
what's
really
up, fucking Kenny Beard?
yeah. What's up? Just groaning out.
Getting all rugged.
It was like in that moment. That's when the episode got good. It was nothing but up from there, but it didn't redeem the continuously bad writing, in my opinion. But I thought the moments after that were really interesting. But yeah, I was really happy to see Kenny. I was glad that he was alive. He adds a really interesting dynamic, and I think a Lee-less Clementine and Kenny makes for a really weird relationship.
Right.
He's
'Cause I
like the
felt
pseudo godfather, right? And
Yeah, because I felt like when Duck died, especially in the last episode, like when Kenny's like, no, we're gonna go and find Clem. Like we're not gonna worry about getting off out of this place. We're gonna go and find Clem together. So it felt like after Duck died, Clem kind of became her, like his daughter-ish. Not as much as Lee it was to Lee, but in a way.
yeah, I agree. It was because Lee said to Kenny, and at least in my game, he said, if when I'm dead, you got to take care of her. In episode 5, so I was excited to see that. Kenny's he was my favorite character from season 1, aside from Omid.
Ugh.
I liked Omid.
I still love how Omid dies, like immediately
too.
without any regard. Like they're just like, oh, someone's here. He's getting
Fucking
shot for
sucked.
no fucking reason.
That fucking sucked. But yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, and I think the moment that personifies that is when you're looking at the 2 tables, and Luke's
Oh,
like,
man.
hey, and then Kenny's like, yeah, come sit over here, Clementine. And I'm like, did they really just do this?
Yup.
That was the hardest decision I've ever made. Did you guys both sit with Kenny?
I sat with Kenny.
I sat with Kenny, yeah. I
I sat
I haven't
with
seen
Luke.
Kenny in like 4 episodes. Like,
yeah.
I
I'm
haven't
clearly...
I'm
not-
pro Kenny, and I sat with Luke. because Kenny gave me
you
bad
fucking
vibes.
muff.
I sat with Luke, and Kenny looked crushed, and I had to pause the game and give myself a moment.
Really think about the weight of your decision.
Yeah, but he comes over and sits with you then.
Well, yeah, they switch eventually. Like Luke and Nick come and sit with you at Kenny's table too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that shit gets real weird.
So,
like they're competing for pedo vibes.
Yeah.
Oh God.
At least I don't think Kenny's a pedo.
Kenny.
No, he's worse.
I would go towards Kenny right now being more of a pedo than
he's super sociopathic, like just fucking.
Yeah, he's broken. He's a broken man. Like he's straight up. It does no longer works. He will probably smack the shit out of Clementine at some point.
Oh man, that's gonna be rough. But I also think that is a possibility.
Yeah, and he's probably gonna go ballistic and hurt Clementine, and then you're gonna have like a choice to kill him or not, and then he's gonna die either way. But because that's how this works.
I'm getting so sad thinking about this potential option.
But like I still think he adds a really interesting dynamic to a group, especially because you're predisposed to him. You have a relationship with him that's already been established. And my roommate asked a really good question of like, what if you were as Lee a total dick to Kenny through season 1? How would he feel about Clementine?
Everyone loves Clementine. I think that Clementine is like a universal good, and everyone will like her. Because I don't think that he ever wouldn't. He wouldn't have been like, I don't know. I mean, I was always nice to Kenny in every playthrough. I couldn't not be because he's amazing.
Yeah.
But I don't think that he's ever going to be like, Kenny, I need you to help me find Clem in episode 5. He's like, no, fuck you. I'm going to go get on my boat.
Yeah. I don't think he would do that either. But it was.
That's a good question. But...
Yeah, I'm curious if people out there are watching or listening and have done that, let us know. But one thing I want to touch on here, there are two things. One's real quick. I forgot to mention this. In the cabin with Nick in the beginning, you have the option to compare Nick to Ben, and I totally went for that because I'm like, yeah, no, you are totally the Ben of this group, and you suck. She's like, I knew someone like you. Did
no
you
one
do
is
that
as
option?
bad as Ben. I did, but no one is as bad as Ben.
Ben
My
sucks.
favorite line in the first season of The Walking Dead is Ben suggests something, and Kenny just turns over, looks him right in the eye, and says, "That's fucking stupid, Ben." And I laughed for so long.
I remember that. It's in the school, right?
Yeah.
And that's a great line. But the other thing is, do you guys notice that Clementine is literally scowling about 90% of this whole episode? She never... she smiles like twice.
She does smile, and she smiles in super weird places and like super weird moments.
Yeah, it just...
I don't know if it's like a default animation thing, like a technical thing, or they like want her to get real awkward.
I don't know. She's like walking around like this disgusted look on her face, like, ugh, I hate everything. And when it was happening like on the bridge and when they were like walking, when it doing the time jumps all around, she's like anytime it's the shot of her walking, she's just like scowling at everything, and it just felt really off for her. Like I can imagine her.
How happy do you expect her to be?
I don't expect her to be just fucking cheers and sunshine, but it feels like there was a jump. She jumped to Scally Scowl way faster than I thought she would. And it feels like she hates everyone in this group.
I think she does. I think because I feel like because I do. I mean, maybe that's because it works for me. Like, because I don't like anyone but Luke, and when she's with just Luke, she seems to be kind of having fun. Like, she has like these little smirks here and there, even if they kind of look like when I suggest I want to take the big one, I kind of have this like devilish smirk on my face when she said it. But when she's with everyone, I get the feeling like, she had a family that she had survived with for so long, and now they're all gone. And she's with these people that she doesn't like any of them but one, just like me. So that works for me.
Yeah. I don't know. What did you think, Jarrett?
I don't know. I feel like, I guess that's part of the growing process she's going through, because she lost her mentor, like, caregiver. It has to be the boss, like, immediately. Her, like, secondary mentor caregiver was also killed, like, not too long ago. and these people should have a great relationship with him. I mean, she's starting to now, I guess, but they did lock her in a shed, and she had a fucking situation. So I guess if I was an 11-year-old and had to live through that shit, I'd be scowling too. But then she's like, well, Pete died. Sarah, sorry. And she's like, well, I'm going to sit down. I don't know how to take this yet. And she's like, well, smiles.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's probably not the answer.
Yeah. It just...
I know you're creeped out about Sarah, and you should be.
Yeah.
So you don't smile at something like that. That's encouraging, like, the sociopathic behavior she's building. Yeah. Give a little Hannibal Lecter on your hands.
It just felt, I think for me, the scowl was too much. Like, frowning or just looking dejected or just neutral would have made more sense for me, but she's, like, actively scowling and looking upset and angry a lot. And it didn't feel like that's how she was acting. And maybe she's hiding it. It didn't work for me again, like much of the things in this episode. But I was gonna say, when you're climbing up the tower, right, and Jacob's sharing a bonding moment with Pedo Luke, and
I shared a moment. I had a little back and forth. He said, "Look down for a second." And I said, "You told me not to look down." He said, "You. You're so funny."
Oh, you, Clem. But yeah, and the lights were coming. What did you think? How did you think this? At that point, how did you think this cabin was going to go down?
Exactly how it went down.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't expecting exactly how it went down, roughly, but
maybe not like a hostage situation or whatever. I expected it to end like Carver's people show up, and now would be the end of the episode.
Yeah, that's how I thought it was going to go too. I like how it ended more, but
yeah, I figured it had to have been Carver. Like, who else? It would have been weird to introduce more new people.
I thought it would be Carver, but just I thought it would become a scenario where they surround the lodge when you're all in it, as opposed to Walker's attack, and you have to shut off the turbine, and then half people are outside, half people are inside, and everything goes to shit. I thought that was more interesting than what I expected it to be, but I'm trying to think of any key things. So there's
did you vouch for your new? I know you guys fucking hate the new group. I'll hate them too, except for Luke. But did you vouch for them? And when
I said they're okay. I didn't want to stake my life on them, but I said that they're okay.
I vouched for them. I mean, I can't not vouch for them. I had no intention of staying here with fucking Psycho Kenny and the pedo dude with the sweater.
Yeah, because, like, right, you see Kenny again, you're all happy, and I'm like, oh, I can stay here with Kenny, and then, like, 5 minutes later, you see he's got some fucked up shit going on, and you immediately don't really want to stay with Kenny, but you know him better than these people. They create a very, very good moment there.
Yeah. Yeah, because I went from so excited to see Kenny to being like, something is so different from the person that I knew in the first season.
Yeah. And I like that. I like that there's a whole new layer to Kenny. So then we get to the action sequence. We can talk about that conversation you have with Rebecca. So, Jacob, you said you should be nice to me, to Rebecca at the end of episode 1, right?
Yeah.
Did that play into this episode at all?
She explained her situation to you, right? She's like, I don't even know whose baby it is. I don't know why I'm talking to you. And she's like, what should I do? And I was like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, right? Like, what are you doing?
But I also didn't like whatever the most negative response was when she asked for forgiveness on the walk. I said that too, so I don't know if that'll play into anything, but
like for me, I was like, yeah, it's fine. Like I know bitches will be bitches, but then like when Rebecca's like talking at you when you're in the walk, and then I forgot why, but I like walked away.
Yeah, you want to go put that Christmas ornament on top of the tree. Like, I prioritized that over having a talk with Rebecca.
Yeah, right. But, like, no, I'm not talking about just that. I'm talking about flashing back to the 5 days later thing. When you're walking and Rebecca is, like, talking at you and you're like, oh, yeah, I know, you're a bitch. It's fine. And then Mike Clementine walked away for some reason, like, while she was talking. Just like, what do you do? So I don't remember why.
Mine walks away because that's where the tobacco truck is, where Pete is.
Okay. See,
And it's super awkward.
It was different for me, so.
It's super awkward without that end. Like, if she just walks away, you're like, well, I guess fuck my story.
Right? Yeah, no, fuck you, Rebecca. I don't like you. It's just like, I would have been okay if they made her just like a person that you guys don't like each other, but they tried to redeem her, and didn't do it. Didn't happen.
No.
Nope. Not
So yeah, then you're like talking to her above the Christmas tree. She's like, "I don't know, for some odd reason, I trust you." I'm like, "You shouldn't."
I literally told you not to trust me
Yeah.
a week ago when I met you, after you locked me in a shed for being an 11-year-old girl.
And again, the whole Matthew situation felt exactly like the whole dog situation to me.
Yeah.
And it felt trite. It felt contrived. It felt like another zombie movie moment, like a beat that they have to hit because it's a zombie movie. And I didn't like that.
Yeah.
But they ended that situation well. You guys, I assume, were honest about Nick shooting Matthew.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I was worried. That scene I thought was good when you're outside and it's like getting a little stormy.
Yeah.
That was probably the most tense I'd been in
Yeah.
The Walking Dead for a while.
Yeah, when he turns around and drops the cigarette, and he's fucking holding the knife, and he's looking at both of you. And it cuts to behind his head, and it's just the two of you on either side. I thought that was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and because he felt like even more so than Kenny. I felt from the second I saw him, he'll be the guy who will fucking snap in this episode if anyone's going to. And he definitely could have.
It was good because they placed it right next to him, like, we got to be political, we got to work together, and then fucking I was ready for him to just go fucking like stabbing him, like I thought he was gonna take the knife and just stab himself in the face.
Oh yeah, I thought he was gonna kill himself too.
There's really no since I guess it's because you don't really know him, so you really don't know what he's gonna do, and with every other character now, we're at a point where we're pretty sure what they're gonna do. But this dude, he comes off a little creepy, but he says all the right things. Then he realizes the only reason he's happy is dead, and that's our fault. And he's got this knife, and he's just staring at this little girl I could just kill the shit out of her. And I'm like, wow, he could just kill the shit out of me. Am I going to get stabbed by some giant rapist?
And he doesn't do anything, and I thought that was really interesting. But he's thinking about it, because later when he shoots the walker that's attacking Nick, you can just fucking see it in his eyes that he wants to shoot the fuck out of Nick.
Does he? Will he kill Nick if you don't?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I would love... If he does, that would be awesome.
That would be nuts.
He just Rambo's Nick in the face, starts cutting him. That would be great. That would be great. That would have made this episode better for me.
Right. Yeah. Well, going back a little bit, you see Bonnie from 400 Days.
That part comes next.
Is that after? I thought it was before that scene.
No, it was before, because when you come in from meeting Bonnie, Luke shows you found the photo of Matthew.
Oh, yeah.
So you meet Bonnie. I love this moment too. I love seeing Bonnie.
I didn't like. Did you like Bonnie in 400 Days?
I didn't like her. But I liked her character just as a character. I didn't like her as a person. But I like the 5 established characters. It was 7 total, actually, established characters in 400 Days. So it's nice to see, again, like with Kenny, it's nice to see a character that I know, because I met a whole bunch of new characters that I didn't know, and they all suck. So seeing Bonnie was a nice change of pace, because I know a little bit about her. I know a little bit about her motivation.
I mean, you have to, you've connected with her. You played as her, so you obviously will feel something.
I didn't see her.
Oh, you didn't? So did you even realize that did you even know that?
I was like, this bitch is obviously A, working with Carver, or B, some other group of assholes.
Did you give her food?
I tried to convince him not to, but I didn't want to just shoo her away. I was hoping that maybe he'd just shoo her away, and he just didn't. Just grabbed her a box of food. I was like, well, that's a mistake. Not that it really matters, because I was almost positive that she was with Carver, and they're going to come back anyway. They're just scouting to make sure we are who we are. Doesn't matter where the food's going.
Yes.
I was surprised to see her with Carver, though. I thought that was a good twist.
I wanted what's his name to be there too. Leland, that old man that she's kind of hooking up.
Yeah,
But I
he
guess
disappeared
wasn't
at the end of 400 Days. So
I guess he did.
I don't know if he's
depressing.
dead or not. I assume he's dead, but
Yeah,
and Bonnie's had a daughter as well. She was pregnant in 400 Days.
Oh, yeah, she was.
And she talks that she has a daughter.
I
So
forgot about that. So is Bonnie and what's his name from the
Leland.
No. You see him. He's dead in the first episode of season 2. The guy who was running the gas station, the biker guy. What was his name? Roman.
Yeah, he was with a different. Yeah, Roman. He was with a different character from 400 Days, not Bonnie.
Yeah, but you see, I mean, those are the only 2 characters from 400 Days we've seen in season 2,
Yes.
right?
So I assume everyone else from 400 Days is with Carver's group.
That's probably what's her name was. That's probably my guess is what's her name that shows up at the end of
I
400
don't
Days to
remember.
recruit him.
Yeah. My hope is that the woman at the end of 400 Days is from a different group, and Bonnie defected to Carver's group, and these are 2 groups that are fighting. That would be cool.
That would be cool.
So
Very
that's what I'm hoping
similar
for.
to what's going on right now in the comic books.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool.
And I think that would be interesting. That would be an interesting dynamic for those 400 Days characters to be fighting against each other. So, but the Bonnie stuff happens. We all told Nick what happened. So I guess the wind turbine happens. Carlos is like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and you just take a key and you turn the thing.
Yeah,
and it's
he's
like,
like,
Carlos is like, I can't figure this out.
do it.
We'll let the 11-year-old do it.
And she's like, well, I'm going to turn a key and push a button. And I'm like, well, that was the worst sequence ever, I think.
again,
And
like,
then I was like,
writing
nope,
wise,
it's not the
just-
worst sequence ever. The one after it is, where you have to like kick a side of the rock and just shoot bullets until someone dies there, until you run out. There's no aiming, so you kind of shoot at things.
There was a different way, like you can run past the rock to another rock and shoot other people.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you guys, but my Clementine's aim was not very good.
No.
No, I'm a crack shot.
Okay. I miss a lot of headshots that I shouldn't have. But yeah, then the fight scene happens. I thought the Walker fight was decent. It was better than the bridge because there were a bunch of people running around. You didn't know what was happening. And I thought that was interesting. And then, of course, it breaks away where Carver shows up with his death squad, and you run inside. And you meet up with Alvin and Rebecca, and you're faced with the choice of finding Kenny and Luke, or just surrendering. So, what did you guys do?
I went to find Luke.
Fuck
Me
yeah,
too.
dude. I gotta go look for the only 2 people I like.
Okay, so we all went that way. I've seen what happens the other way. So
What happens?
I'll
Tell me.
I'll go through that. If you stay in, you surrender. Carlos, this again, my roommate played this, so I didn't have any choice here. Carlos, you're all tied up, and Carlos, you're sitting next to him. He's got fucking broken, gross fingers that you see up close, and it's just, they look so awful.
Even those cartoon fingers, it still looks fucking nasty.
Oh god, it looks horrible. And they're just like twisted and cranked. So if you're sitting there, you can. Carlos is like, Clementine, can you reach my hands? And my roommate told him, just shut up, I'm not doing anything. But I imagine if you fuck that up, you can reach and try and untie Carlos. I imagine Carlos can die. Because apparently everyone can die in this scene. Not everyone at once, but everyone except for Kenny's wife can die, I believe. And Rebecca, of course, but fuck Rebecca. And
Holy
Nick.
shit. Sarah can die?
I'm pretty sure Carlos, Alvin, and Walter can die. Walter always dies, I'm pretty sure, but
Oh man, that's rough.
but I imagine if you try and untie Carlos, he would try and attack Carver
With his broken ass hand.
with his
He'd get
broken
killed.
ass hand, and he gets shot down, which I think would be interesting. But anyway, you sit, and then Kenny pops off the one guy from the window, and then Carver marches out and kills Walter. That scene where it cuts to Walter looking at the picture of him and Matthew,
He's like, "I'm
and then
gonna
he gets
do some
shot in the
shit."
face.
Nope.
It's so awful. Like, that was heartbreaking.
I like that they give you the scene just before where he's like, all right,
Yeah.
get up and do. Nope. Then just suddenly just shot in the face. I was like,
Just
well,
shot-
at least he thought
He's
about
like,
it.
oh, pfft. And then, yeah, that was awful. And so then he grabs Alvin, and you have the option to run and protect Alvin. and you just fucking shoulder charge Carver, and because he did run and protect Alvin, and then Carter hits Alvin, knocks him out with a gun, and fucking strangleholds Clementine. Is holding her up, like her feet are dangling off the ground, and he's got the gun pointed to her head, and then Kenny surrenders.
Damn.
And then
That sounds way more intense than what I...
Yeah, it was very intense. I was actually disappointed that I didn't do that, but I'm disappointed that I fucked up and Alvin died anyway, so...
Yeah. I like that your group is so ruined and shattered. Like, it's broken. Because it's going to be so much different than ours now.
Yeah, fucking... you go out the other way, and then you find Kenny in the little lift, and he's popping off people, or attempting to. So what did you guys do? Because Kenny shoots the first guy, then he kills Walter, then he marches out Alvin, and Kenny is yelling at me like, "I've got the shot! I've got the shot!" I'm like, "Well, then take it. I don't know."
No, I didn't say that. I was like, no,
not to, because that's the kind of shit where he would shoot Alvin in his face, and it'd be like, "Well, not live with that, Kenny."
Well,
Duck's dead, now Alvin's dead.
I made the mistake of assuming Kenny is a good shot. So he shoots Carver in the shoulder, and then Carver falls down. I'm like, oh, he's dead. Thank God. And then Carver, like, it cuts to a zoom in of his face, his eyes open. And he gets back up, slaps Alvin across the face with the gun, and then shoots him on the ground right in the face.
So did you move with Kenny?
Fuck!
Jesus. Did you move with him?
I didn't move. No, we did. That's right, we did.
Yeah, you see, I moved with him, and then he's like, "Oh, I got this shot," and I chose to just grabbed Kenny's gun from him and just ripped it down.
Okay.
And I was like, "No, we don't shoot."
Yeah, well, Alvin got fucking murdered, so
He didn't get murdered.
he got murdered right in the face hole.
Alvin lives.
So I'm guessing you did the same thing, Jarrett?
I didn't grab a gun. I told him not to shoot it.
What does he say?
He's like, "Fuck, I got the shot," and she's like, "Well, he'll just keep doing this. Think about your girl." And he's like, "Fuck, I will," and then it doesn't.
Fucking I will.
So after he
You
shoots
grabbed the
Alvin,
gun.
he does march out Kenny's girlfriend, and then he's like,
Really?
yeah, and then Kenny puts the gun down and surrenders. So, that's the end, man.
And then Luke is just in the wind.
Yeah, Luke's gone. The fucking pedophile ran.
I was
for
like,
it.
"Fuck you! He's not a pedophile."
It's not a raping spree.
I was worried
You know.
because I was convinced, and they were like, "All right, Kenny, go and do this one, whatever they went to do." What did they go do? And you had to fix the turbine, and they were like, "Oh," Luke was like, "Oh, I'll go with you," and I just went sheet white, and I was like, "Oh, they're gonna make me choose who to keep alive, Kenny or Luke." I guarantee. I thought that's where it was going. I was like, "This is gonna
That
go.
would be
They're gonna get
amazing.
trapped."
Damn,
You
I
would pick
still
Luke.
do.
You would have picked Luke, wouldn't you?
I would have picked Luke
Fucking monster.
because I know neither one of you would, and I want to prove to you that he's not a pedophile. I don't want him to die a pedophile.
I may pick Luke too. I don't like the way Kenny's looking at me anymore.
Kenny was giving. If Kenny was the exact same as season 1, probably would pick Kenny, but he is not the same man. Yeah, he's got that husk look.
Like, he doesn't even know what he's looking at anymore.
He's just staring off, man. Empty eyes. I don't know. I think Kenny's fucked up, and he's probably going to do something really awful. But I like his character dynamic, at least right now. I think he's going to make things more interesting.
I'm really excited to see how Rebecca acts to dead Alvin.
Yeah, me too.
Well, not home anymore.
I don't know. I don't know what happens next, honestly.
Your playthrough's ruined.
Yeah, right? Might as well give up now.
Alvin was your anchor.
And it's great. So one other thing to share with you guys, if you're inside while he's marching out Alvin, Carver. Totally forgot his name for a second there. So when he's marching Alvin to the door, he's like, do you remember George, Alvin? You know, that person that you killed in cold blood just because you didn't like him? Well, that's what I'm about to do to you. So you hear that if you're inside. You don't if you're out. And, of course, if you asked him at the door when Carver comes to look through the cabin, he tells you his name is George.
Really?
You drop that bomb on Alvin and...
Drop that bomb.
If you drop that bomb on Alvin and Rebecca, they're like... They just have this look. They're like, George! No. they give each other this look. So I think that's interesting.
Dude.
That's an interesting little piece of information. Yeah, there we go. I my playthrough's ruined. You guys are right.
It's over. It's over for you.
Alvin was the glue. So
he was holding it together.
when you get the preview of the next scene or of the next episode, I assume you guys saw it was a shot of Kenny's like, well, at least I didn't give up, is what he says, or something like that.
I don't think I got that.
I didn't get that either.
That's what
I got a VO of Carver telling me how I guess he's talking to his people, and he's making references that make it seem like this party left those people, but it's okay, they can work themselves back in, and it kind of
I got that
implies indenturement. And there's a really funny picture of Alan all fucked up in a chair, and I'm like, good, because you're an asshole.
Yeah. Hey, man, he gave you that juice box.
Whatever, man. Then he was like, yo, this unsecured shack, can you go in there for me, 11-year-old? I sit there with my pregnant-ass wife who's a giant bitch.
Alvin, why are you such a pussy, man?
Yeah. I'm beginning to think that you knew Alvin could get killed and you did it on purpose.
I had no idea.
No, it's so I guess if you surrender in the cabin, because my roommate saw this preview, it shot a Kenny talking to Clementine when he's like, well, at least I didn't give up. And I'm like, oh, Kenny?
Did you not surrender? Did you not surrender, Kenny?
I didn't surrender. I surrendered, but I guess that means like right from the get-go. So for me, he's like, it's the same shot of Kenny. He's like, Alvin would have died anyway. He was going to kill him anyway. And I use that as like confidence, like, yeah, he was going to shoot Alvin anyway.
Yeah.
Not true, as we now know.
You're using the arguments of an insane person to justify what you did.
Hey, you shut up. You like Luke. Don't even start with me.
Yes.
Luke is going to be the hero of this next episode, and I'm excited. I'm going to carry this Luke banner to my grave. Even if he becomes a pedophile, I'll still love him.
So long as he saves everyone, he's okay as a pedophile.
He's not going to be a pedophile. This has been Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 2, the Pedocast, for the last hour.
Pedocast.
I definitely think, I hope Luke just never shows up until episode 5 or whatever. You just don't see him again.
You just think Luke's dead?
Way.
Like, whatever, fuck Luke.
There's no way, because I'll never forget about him. I'll be champion.
Through all these episodes,
like
he's not a pedophile, he's just not there. He's just an absent father. No.
Oh man, he's so cool.
Look, I have a wife, and she's an adult.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's not a pedophile. He's not a fucking pedophile.
I like this dynamic though. So yeah, next episode they've taken you to like basically a Best Buy. That's kind of like what I took it as. Best Buy, like a BJ's.
giant Best Buy.
A warehouse store of some kind, and that's where they have their little base, their little piece of Woodbury.
Full slice of home.
Little slice of home, and that's where the next episode will take place. I definitely didn't think it would become this, where you're kind of being forced into this camp.
Right. I thought you were going to be on the run from Carver for like the entire season.
Yeah, or I thought there would be more dynamic between them. There's still room for that, of course.
Right.
But again, I like how this episode ends. I like where it's going.
You just like that Luke's not there.
Yeah, exactly. But that first half of this episode was so weak, I thought. Just the pacing issues that really frustrated me. Just the flip-flopping of some characters like Nick. I don't know. Nick just bothers me. I don't like his character. And then the Rebecca thing, and then it gets, as soon as Kenny showed up, I was like, all right, I'm back on board. And then there's that tense moment where you're walking through the lodge, and they're showing up, and these people are getting murdered. Alvin is dead. I liked all that.
Yeah.
It just the writing just wasn't there all the way through the episode, and that's kind of what broke it for me, and as well as all the plot bullshit. But I really did like the second half of the episode. I liked the episode overall. I thought it was okay. It just, the second half of the episode being pretty stellar, I thought, did not redeem the really bad first half. So that's kind of where I was with my review. Overall thoughts you guys got to close it out?
I'm kind of glad it went the way it went.
Continue, Jarrett.
It's not. Again, I don't think I'd like this episode, but
I don't think so.
I agree that the end was stronger than the beginning, and I'm glad this isn't like a cat and mouse thing that's going to last episodes where you're running from Carver.
Mm-hmm.
They have a plot sort of hook that Carver is big and scary and dangerous and looking for you. And instead of making an artificial way for him to hide from this, he just comes in the second episode, takes you. So in that way, that's kind of unexpected because the pace set by the rest of the game suggested that wouldn't happen because that seems too obvious. And by being too obvious, it's completely not obvious. Like, that's what Carver should do, is, oh, they're here, they're in danger, they're scared, and they're fractured. It's time for me to capitalize, instead of them suddenly somehow making it out.
It makes Carver way more interesting as a character.
Right, because he's willing to do that. He's not going to chase them and make this weird sort of game out of the next 2 episodes. He's got them, and he's going to do what he wants.
And as weird as it is, as horrible as it is, he does have this off-kilter sense of morality that he didn't just start shooting into the crowd when he got into the lodge. I mean, he beat the shit out of Carlos, but he didn't kill him. He didn't raise a gun to him. He was threatening to, but he doesn't kill Carlos with the knife that he's holding to his throat.
And you have a sense that he's beating Carlos because him and Carlos have a past.
Yeah, there's definitely something
him specifically.
Yeah.
So I was curious. I was wondering because he hates Carlos a lot.
Yeah.
Did
Oh, Jacob, you froze.
That his baby was hit.
Jacob, you cut out for a second there. You want to recap
Hello?
that? You're back.
Oh, yeah. Carlos
Mm-hmm.
and Carver hate each other. But do they hate each other because Carlos knew that Rebecca's baby was Carver's, or do they have some other? Did they ever mention that? Because I don't know why he hates him so much.
I don't know. See,
I figured because he's a doctor, maybe he knew.
See, this thought popped in my head as we're sitting here talking, of like, what if in this community, like, Carver's like fucking all the women and impregnating all of them?
So it's like weird, like Mormon thing,
like,
where he's like
weird kind of cultish.
Right.
It just popped in my head. If that's the case, that'd be pretty fucking fucked up and interesting. Like, what if like whoever Carlos's wife, Sarah's mom, didn't want to go with it, and Carlos protected him, and that caused problems.
That'd be fine.
And the illusion is that these people left Carver.
Yeah, they didn't. Whatever happens in their community, they did not like it.
And they're going to Carver for some reason needs to get them back because he has this weird family sense thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing Carlos was the ringleader of this sort of separation, which is why he really doesn't like Carver.
Right.
Yeah,
or really doesn't
that
like
makes
Carver.
sense too.
And a lot of things setting this new area that we're going to up for success, but I'm way more concerned now than I was at the end of episode 1, because again, I liked episode 1 more. I thought it ended on a really nice, tense moment, kind of like episode 1 of season 1, and it has a lot of potential. But yeah, just like they wasted all that tension at the beginning of episode 2, I thought. And I don't want them to do that again. So, Jacob, any last thoughts, final thoughts to close us out?
Well, I obviously still liked it more than you, even though you guys tried to dissuade me.
We gave it our best shot.
Hate Luke with such a passion. But yeah, I'm excited. Like I said before, my favorite part of this is Carver. I like that he's not just a gruff guy. I mean, you see him, he's obviously powerful. I've never seen anyone in these games use anything but a hunting rifle or a pistol. And Carver's people come in with machine guns. So automatically, like, that just was like, holy fuck, that's a fast shooting rifle that I have not seen in this universe at all, ever.
Yeah.
So, like, he's got access to things, and he's obviously, like Jared said, he's smart. Like, he knows when to capitalize on things. So
he's very manipulative, too.
Right. I'm glad he's here in episode 2 rather than waiting to reveal him at the end of the 3rd or 4th episode.
Yeah, even though I think his reveal was anticlimactic because I don't think they built up to it enough. Like if for example he hadn't shown up at the beginning of episode 2 and he just showed up at the end of episode 2, I thought that would have been good. I think that would have been good because that scene with him really showcases how intimidating he can be. When he just walks up to Carlos and fucking punches the shit out of him, and then proceeds to torture him. That was interesting. That was intimidating. That was tension building. But that first scene was anticlimactic. But I'm glad we got that out of the way so we can just establish Carver, whoever the fuck he is, as
Carvin, whatever.
As
Carbon.
a presence. Carbon monoxide. So, yeah. Hopeful. I'm hopeful. Let's say.
Hope.
I
Fuck
just
that.
hope Rebecca
I'm
dies.
still enjoying it, so.
Let's be real here.
I think it's gotta. I really hope the 3rd episode's like good.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah,
I'm not sure I'm gonna want to do a 4th or 5th episode if the 3rd one isn't good.
Yeah.
There's plenty of potential, like that's been spoken about, but there's just so many things that I know they're going to do because they have to, because I guess they feel like it's part of their brand that I don't want to see. I don't want to see fucking randomly sprouting zombies right when they need it. I don't want to have these characters just suddenly have a change of heart without really any exposition. I don't want to jump ahead 5 days and in the middle of this episode with really no rhyme or reason and no consequence in those 5 days. There has to be. Hopefully, this episode slows things down and sets a real pace that everyone can feel, that every character feels, because you don't get that in this episode. A lot of people are talking about their thing, but no one feels anything.
Yeah. And it's just the pace of season 2 is so fast. Like, I feel like we don't have enough time to let anything sink in. And we need to stay in one place for some amount of time where consequences can become reality, where we can get punished for the choices we made or get praised for them. Like, you know, the first episode, you jump ahead 18 months, and Clementine's just older, and we have to move with that. And I was okay with that, but now we're jumping ahead by days and weeks, and it's just, there's no real time to settle in. They need to find a pace.
And it's way more important in this game for that, because this is all this game has. This is exactly what this game's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
The zombies aren't the real draw here. It's the people. And if I don't have enough time to care about the situations they're in, then I don't care about anything about this game.
Yeah.
Because that's what this game has going for it. It ain't its technical prowess and the way it runs. That's not it. It's not the art necessarily, because we've seen this for years now.
Yeah.
It's not the world or the topics, because they're overused too. There has to be a narrative that you care about, and they're not setting up a time for you to care about anything. Like, Telltale's doing the same thing in a different store, in a different franchise, and they're doing it well. And it's fast. Like, The Wolf Among Us is fast paced and it doesn't stop. But you still have enough time to see the consequences of your actions.
Yeah, it's more consistent. You know, Wolf Among Us is consistent. There's a level pace throughout the whole series right now, and it's completely blowing season 2 out of the water. And it's disappointing, because I know they can do better. I know
We've watched them do better.
Yeah, we watched them do better last month when we were all like, yeah, episode 2 of The Wolf Among Us was really good. And we're excited to see where that goes. And again, tentatively excited to see where this goes. And I know you're all on board, Jacob. And
I'm on board.
Not criticizing you for that. For me, they need to step up the game.
No, honestly, I can see where your complaints are, because I had some of them too. I mean, I didn't like the time jumps at all. And you're right. Yeah, some of the dialogue was borderline cringeworthy for me, at least. I mean, you said it was very cringeworthy for you, yeah, but a lot of the stuff it just overruled all that stuff for me, at least.
Yeah, it just, and I can understand that. It just for me, step up the game. Step up the writing specifically. So that's all I got. I think that pretty much sums it up. So I guess we're hopeful for season 2. Hopefully they'll keep this pace up. It wasn't too long between episode 1 and episode 2. I mean, I said season 2 earlier. I meant episode 3. I don't know, just a bunch of numbers, just throwing shit out there at this point. But yeah, if you would like to read my review, you can check it out at irrationalpassions.com. And of course, we will be reviewing the rest of the episodes of season 2, as well as a bunch of other stuff and awesome features and pieces that are all over irrationalpassions.com. So stay tuned to there. If you'd like to hear more from us personally, I am at alfighter27 on Twitter. Jarrett is at Jarrett John, all one word, and Jacob is at JacobB41. Yes.
Yes.
I'm always unsure about the numbers. Now I'm thinking about it. People are probably unsure about the numbers in my Twitter handle too.
See, now it's all relative. Now you feel it.
In your head.
It's all coming back. All right, but thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for more Walking Dead coverage as per usual. So peace, guys.
Peace.